Okay, hey guys, this is a quick user instructions slash how-to video on how to use the SFX Metadata Distribution Sheet. Now the sheet's been made utilizing UCS data, the latest version 8.2.1, and I basically created this to solve a problem where it was taking a lot of time to populate a metadata sheet for my sound effects packs and also for my vocals, which I send out to clients. And so I thought that I would develop something that made it really fast, so that I could get back to recording in the studio or be out in the field or whatever it might be, doing what I do best, and this stuff would happen just on the fly and just be really intuitive. So basically what I've done is I've integrated UCS data into the sheet here, and as you create and export your sound effects files, obviously you'll be looking to both name them, to assign them their category IDs, and obviously record a series of other metadata for that file to have in a sheet that people can use and your clients can use as a reference point in terms of what's in your distributed SFX pack, or whether it be some files that you might be sending a client. And this is pretty straightforward, and I'm just going to run through this really quickly so you guys can get a feel for it. It saved me a ton of time. It took me a lot of time to do it, so I kind of over invested, but here we go. So basically we want to start by in the middle here with our category and our subcategory for the UCS system. So I've got some example data here already in the table, but you want to start here with your category. So obviously you open it up here, and these lists have been branched, so you'll notice that there aren't duplicates in here, so they've all been sliced down. So I can jump in and choose, well, I want chemicals. Okay, now you'll notice there's a non-applicable that's shown up in cat ID and explanation, and those will automatically populate from the data within the UCS data file as you select your both your category and your subcategory. So if I jump into subcategory here and I choose reaction, you'll notice that that has automatically populated the explanation in the explanation column, and it's also automatically populated the category ID. So now you have a starting point without having to question what you've produced. So you automatically know that your name of your file is going to start chem REAC, chem reaction. Okay, and then you might have maybe it is I don't know, like a sodium oxygen reaction in a beaker. Okay, so you've got a name. Now you've got a name for your file. Now you'll notice that when I tab across, oops, I've left something out there. I might call that .wav, because I know I've recorded it in a WAV. Now you'll notice that the column next to it, the file link, has also now automatically populated with the name of that file. So this is a physical link. So once you've taken this field and copied it, okay, now, so when you go into your repository where all your files are, you'll notice I've got my license text in here, my license PDF. You've got the database sheet itself. Any other documents that you might accompany your SFX packs or your distribution packs, even a little web app that will open up your website. I can do another video on how to create those later on, but they're really handy, just something to include in your files so that they look really complete and really professional. But for the sake of this, we've now copied our file name, and we will just paste that in there. Let's get rid of that last piece. So we've now got an audio file in our repository with the name that we have just created in our metadata sheet. Now you'll notice if I click that link, it will now attempt to open that file that you've just created, making it really, really simple for somebody who's browsing the database here of what you've got in your repository to actually go through and see the information in front of them and then have a link directly to that file. The clue is that these files need to be in the same repository as the SFX metadata sheet, so they can't be in a separate folder. But that will work every time, and I can open this file directly from this document, which is just super handy, just really, really nice for people to use. Really intuitive. You might want to give your pack name up here, so you might want to call it, I don't know, possibly a free SFX pack, and maybe it's for February or something like that, and metadata. You can also add an image here, so if you wanted to add an image to your might be a brand image, or perhaps a logo, or even the cover of your SFX pack, you can load that in there, and there's obviously a created using UCS logo here, which links off to their website if people want to access their resources directly, which is pretty cool. I'm not affiliated in any way with UCS, but I have certainly taken advantage of the amazing work that those guys have done to create something that works really, really well for me anyway. Another quick caveat over here, a little button, and obviously that just explains what this is, what it's made of, who created it. Moving along a little bit further along, we've got recording environment. So if I click into recording environment, I can select internal, external, studio, or other. Let's say, for instance, this was recorded in a studio. I can select that. I can then select my bitrate. Let's go big A. Then why does that say 49? That's very strange. Oh, okay, that's weird. Let's start again. Let's just delete that field, and there we go. Okay, and that's 24-bit. Let's say, nah, actually that's 32-bit. And then what library did that come from? So obviously if you've got a specific library that you are distributing and you've given it a name, you've got an SFX library identifier, so you might call this reactive chemicals. And that'll be your library. You've got keywords as well here, but you'll also notice that there's a little 0 there, and that this is also an auto-populating field. So depending on which way you want to start with your description or your keywords. I like to start with the description. I can just jump in here and say chemical reaction, sodium, oxygen, in a, you make it a little further, so a glass beaker under flame or over flame. Possibly you might not put the over flame because that'll add to the flavor of the sound effect. So there we are, chemical reaction, in a chemical reaction, sodium, oxygen in a glass beaker. If I tab across there and then now go down to my keywords, you'll notice that that has auto-populated as well, because some of those words will be relevant when you're creating the keywords as well. So to save you having to type them twice, that field also auto-populates. Obviously fairly self-explanatory, company and originator. You might put your company name in there, or something like that, so it might be your brand, and then obviously the creator, and in the notes down here, that can be anyone really. That can be an originator, the creator of the sound, the person who conceived it, a sound designer, or perhaps the person who actually recorded the raw audio. It's up to you how you use those fields, but they seem to be, so if somebody wants to get back to the person who recorded it, if they've heard something that they just absolutely want more of, as I'm sure most people do when they hear your work. And that's pretty much it. That is just so super easy. And then obviously down here I've got a disclaimer, a special credit to UCS here, some instructions, and just a little bit of information about the pack here. Compatibility for this is XL 2007 onwards. Pre that, there's some code in the background of this that won't necessarily be compatible with anything earlier than that. So if you've got anything above and beyond XL 2007, this should be compatible and it should work for you. Date field, you can change the date up here in short form, and then it will just convert to long form, so you've got an idea of creation date or distribution date or whatever it might be for a reference for you there. Feel free to delete everything from there down when you distribute it if there's no need for you to have it. It just means you can make it a little more you without having too much stuff in there that sort of goes for someone else. Yeah, feel free to add other columns or data in other columns, and maybe create some rows or add some colors or do whatever to this that you feel necessary. But there you go, the SFX Metadata Distribution Sheet. A grueling task, but something that has definitely made my life a lot easier, and hopefully now it will help you. So there you go. Any questions, reach out. There you go, a how-to. Enjoy.